Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day number 646, December the 1st, 2023, 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Pennsylvania, East Coast of the United States, 4:01 a.m. in Ukraine, and we will look at the air alert as we get going in just a moment. Ricochet, first one in here tonight. King Raccoon, welcome to you. Anita Grilleski, Skeghead down there in Australia. Jeffrey Burnett, one of our moderators out in California. Linda Cassio, welcome to you. Rick Berry, Slava Ukraina. Chuck Pinkham, California. Tim Ryder, welcome to you. Lynn Fireball and Harold down there in Virginia. Welcome to you guys. Stephen Phelps, my friend, welcome to you. Don Gentilini, you've got that right. This is a great online group for sure. It's JDO. Welcome to you, sir, as well. Another one of our moderators from the state of Illinois. So, guys, tonight, the update, I'm going to completely update you on Ukraine first. And then we're going to get to our special guest tonight. He is from Iringa, Tanzania. And the reason I'm bringing him on here tonight is to he's just going to put a little confirmation on the truth that China and Russia run Africa, period. Now, I've been telling you guys that for 646 days, but maybe it'll be a little bit better if we have an African telling you that and giving you some real examples. So we have a great opportunity for that. It's going to be good. Bearings is in the other room ready to roll. His wife is watching. That's good. Andreas Locke. Hello from Niedersachsen Oblast in Germany. Welcome to you, my friend. JDO's making sure we know he's from Northern Illinois and not Chicago. All right, guys, so we're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. Very unique perspective. I may even get him to speak Swahili to you. So thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, do all of those things. We're growing, and it's going to be happening pretty quickly. Now, I have connected with Jonathan. We're going to continue to work together. Additionally to that, I'm making new connections with another streamer. It's a professor out of South Carolina and very pro-Ukrainian, and also Rick in Ukraine, going to be connecting with him. So all kind of things are like coming into place 1 month before I'll actually be in Ukraine. So there we go. All right, guys, let's jump right to it tonight. Let me start with this right here. Not that one, but that one. This is beautiful. So probably 10 minutes ago when I looked at this, Kherson, Zaporizhia were under air alarm, which is down here. But they are not under air alarm right now, and everything else is clear. So that's good news as we start. And when we conclude, we'll check back and see where we're at on the air alarm. Now, tonight, I am going to, Skeghead, save that comment right there, buddy. I'm going to need that when Bearings comes in here. So we're going to start with the front line. And I was talking to Jania last night and today, and just getting the real feel of the front lines, which we know is a challenge. Some good places, good things happening, and in other places, it's bad. So tonight, we're going to look at the good and the bad. I'm going to spend a few moments looking at the front line. And tonight, we're actually going to start, let's start in Kherson tonight, and then we'll go upriver. So Kherson itself, this would be on the bad news. And city of, oh, that's too big. Here we go. Let's do that and that. So the city of Kherson is right here. Oh, this is so much better. And it's big city. We tell you every stream that it's shelled every day. So this is hard to believe, but 587 incoming pieces of artillery hit the city of Kherson today. There were 3 civilians killed and 10 civilians wounded today, December the 1st, 2023. No, it's not anywhere on the news. You won't hear about it. But Kherson, it's a problem every day. We talked about this even when Russia withdrew a year ago and then Ukraine took Kherson back, that they were just going to shell it. Now, I want to give you good news tonight. So I'm going to zoom in here. If you look at the map, you literally drive up from Kherson, and this is the Antonivka Bridge area. You then cross this, I need to use my marker, this river right here. This river is the Ingulets River right here. And this bridge was destroyed on the lower highway. They've been building a new one, but I don't think they've opened it yet because it's too dangerous. When we cross this bridge to go help, we actually have to leave Antonivka, come all the way up. And then why do we need a 4-wheel drive truck? Because we then go across fields and we come down to the river and we cross a military pontoon bridge. Then we wrap back down and come back to the highway to go up. That's how we do it. This is why when we go do runs, it takes 7 to 10 days. It's not simple. It's very complicated. So up from Kherson, we get to the city of, and it's a village, but right here. This is good news, guys. Good news. Taginka, right there. This was the city where Fish was based. So Fish is in a different location now. He's been rotated to a different location, but that is where Fish was there. And he has in his group, they're really good, really good. And this place, I'm going to change the color for you. This, guys, and that's public information. This is the major crossing that Ukraine has established on the left bank of the river. So that doesn't zoom. There we go. Let's do this. It's in a little village called Krunku. Ukraine has about 400 soldiers there. They have equipment coming, and they have established this as a real position. So this is great news. I can tell you guys tonight, since we're zoomed in here, if you look at Ivanivka here, we deliver aid to Ivanivka right on the front. I mean, right on the river. And then do a lot of work in this town here. So that's the good. So we've got bad in Kherson, good just up the river. Now we come up the river some more. Nothing really changes. Beterslav right here is shelled every day. It's a city of about 50,000 people. You come up the river, which is now a lot of it's dry. You come through Nikopol here. The nuclear power plant is here. Nothing's changed. Zaporizhia. We come below Zaporizhia, and this is where Ukraine has made some moves. Russia is having a offensive back, a defensive. They're holding and pushing back, but Ukraine has established these positions. This is the town we talked about all the time, Robitny, and Ukraine completely in control of Robitny. It's good. Ukraine needs Verbovi. They're trying to get it, but it's very difficult. And the reason they need these two positions is because they want to come for Tokmak. Tokmak would be a golden egg. And if they could get Tokmak, let me clear all that out. I'm learning how to use my new tools here. Then that leads them to Melitopol. And then that leads them to Crimea. So very important there. We come back on the front, Guliopol, Veliki Novosilica, nothing's changed. We come up, Marinka, nothing's changed. Avdiivka, it's ugly. So here's the problem. And I know Rick in there always giving us the Soviet understanding of their tactics, but Ukraine has plenty of soldiers right here. They have not left. They've pulled back. They have positions. They're there. Now, Russia is they're doing the same thing they did at Bakhmut. And they're pushing in from this way. They're pushing in to cut over the backside because they want Semenivka, Arivka, and they're fighting into Stepovi here. And you guys can understand what happens here because they're also pushing for Siverny. And if that happens, we have a problem, bad problem right there. And this gold line here, if I change the color so I don't confuse everybody, right there, Russia has made some movement into the coke plant. They're losing a lot of troops to do this, but it's what they want to do. Same thing that happened at Bakhmut. Now, a couple of other places here, and then we'll move. You guys remember Klishivka right here. This was the railroad crossing. Remember, I showed you Ukraine had taken this. Well, now you can see Russia's taking it back. Not a big deal, except they wanted that railroad crossing right there. It's very important. Klishivka, the village itself, is completely destroyed and leveled to the ground. So there's nothing there, to establish positions for further advancement. That's wasteland, but they wanted that rail position there. And we don't have it. We come up from there, you move to Bakhmut, Ivanivsky. This is Bakhmut, and you can see we're having some push out of Bakhmut towards Ivanivsky. You may ask, well, how far is that from that? 1 kilometer. Nothing. I mean, sniper range, 1 kilometer. We really cannot lose Ivanivsky. Because if we lose Ivanivsky, I'll show you this. It's the gateway to Chasiv Yar, to Konstantinivka, to Druzhkivka, and then on up towards Kramatorsk and Slavyansk. We really have to hold this, but it's tough right now. The last thing, 2 things I want to show you. This is the Siversk circle. Everything's okay there. I know you're seeing a lot of gold, but problem number 2. So the good and the bad. The city of Torsk right here. This is Torsk. Well, the city limits are actually here. It's a sister city with Kirovsk, divided by the river. Well, Russia is now in Torsk. They have pushed in. They've established positions on the western side of Torsk, and we need to hold there as well. I'm just telling you guys exactly what Zhenya tells me. And then the last place up here is Kupiansk, and we're up near Kharkiv again. Just so you can see it, this is Kupiansk. This is definitely so important, and they're pushing. We'll see. We'll see. We've got good news and we have bad news. So that's where we're at. One of the reasons that you're here is because Zhenya and I tell you the truth. And that's where we're at right up to the minute. Let's go here. This is Pakros. And I will show you guys Pakros, and then we'll move. I want to show you some video I just want the world to see what is actually happening. I'm going to zoom out to about here, give you this. I'll put the pencil on it. So here's Bakhmut. Here's Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Druzhkivka, Konstantinivka. And then if you go here, this is the circle road I've taught you guys. And then from there, you go into Bakhmut. Okay, now, Pakros is right here. This is the way when Zhenya and I leave from working in this area here, we actually come down and we come through Pakrovsk and then we go out to Pavlograd. And then from there, we can cut down to Zaporizhia and get back in here and work. So Pakrovsk right here. This is Pakrovsk today. Residential building. First numbers were 2 killed, 10 wounded, 5 missing. They have now found 3 more and 2 still missing. And yes, this is a home, and I'm going to show you some video now that it's from the government administration. Here's the first one. This is Pakrovsk. This residential area was hit by 6 S-300 missiles. 6 S-300s. It took out quite a large residential little section here. No military. Now, hold on, let me pull this back up. I want to show you this video now of a rescue. So, for those of you that are wondering what targets Russia hits, I'm going to show you. So, faces are blurred out. This is media that's released by the regional administration. No problem to share it. A little baby is wounded. I will translate, voice it over what they're saying, but you need to see this is what's being hit. Very sad. Very sad. Now, this baby survived. She's going to be okay. So there's no death here. There's none of that. I would never show you that. But you will see a reality. This is what the target was in Pakrovsk.
Что там есть? Как ты, зайчик, посмотри на меня. Все нормально?
Says, little baby, look at me. Everything's gonna be okay.
Все хорошо, зайчик, все хорошо. Сейчас
Everything's
больничку
okay,
доедем.
daughter. Everything's
Все
okay.
нормально. Ложись, ложись. Все хорошо, ложись.
Everything's okay.
Ложись, маленький, сейчас доедем.
Lay right here, little one.
Все добро? Да, зайчик.
You looking at me?
Зайчик.
Yeah.
Что ты? Все хорошо, сейчас доедем уже.
We're we're on the way.
Здесь люди.
There's people here.
У вас люди под завалами здесь?
Да, здесь.
Ой-ой-ой-ой.
Hey, what do we need to help out?
А ну, присаживаемся,
Oh my,
присаживаемся.
oh my. This
Присаживайся,
guy's
присаживайся.
injured.
Голос вот этот не закрывай, я только на него нормально вижу.
Now the medic is wrapping that gentleman up, his head up.
После первого взрыва к окну подошел? После третьего.
После третьего. Так. Опускай руку.
Я, ну, на...
Так. Так, мужики, направляйте, man.
That grandmother survives okay. There's nobody killed here.
Что с ногой? А ну.
So guys, that's Pakrovsk last night. You're sitting in your beautiful home tonight. Some of you watching on your phones, your tablets, or you're streaming it to your television. That's what's happening in Ukraine. Every day. Every day. Slovakia blocking the border again. They had stopped. Now they've started again. Poland still blocking the border. However, Poland did open up one border point where Ukraine can bring empty trucks that are over in Poland back into Ukraine at a little quicker pace. But the blockade is still there. Today, Ukrainian truck drivers went on a hunger strike. This is unbelievable. On a hunger strike. They broke it off because the Polish, brought them food in an act of goodwill, trying to explain to the truckers it's more than just your trucking. So it's so complicated. I don't understand it. I just know this is ridiculous. There has to be another solution. So we'll see. Now, I want to show you guys this. This is, can you read that? That says Severomiski Tunnel. So Severomiski Tunnel. That's almost perfect. It's a rail tunnel that connects China to Russia. And it's in this region here near Lake Baikal, which is one of the most famous lakes in the world. If you look to the right of that map there, you see China. So there is a rail line that comes up on the north side of Lake Baikal. It is direct transit from China into Russia. It doesn't come from Mongolia. It is China to Russia. It goes through that tunnel. Do you see the doors closed on that tunnel? There is a reason for that. Ukraine blew the tunnel. Ukraine blew the tunnel. 100% they take credit for it. Their special ops blew a fuel train coming through there. They're done. I mean, guys, this is way over there. So, yes, you are correct, King. It also connects North Korea. That's correct. Well, no longer. That is gone. So, remember the beginning of the program, good and bad. This is great. This is great. I mean, it is way over there. Thousands and thousands of kilometers. We now have the final 100% signed into law by the Rada in Kyiv. There will be no presidential election until the war is over and martial law is over. And 6 months after that, we will have an election. That's it. There is going to be no more talking about a presidential election. Zelensky is the president. He is not the one that mandated this. It was the Rada that put the bill in. They passed it overwhelmingly. Zelensky's the president. And he is going to be sitting as the president for the duration of the war. So that's good news. Good news. Okay, good and bad. That's good news. Could you imagine Ukraine trying to change president right now? Of course, Russia will try to destabilize all of this with propaganda, but I'm telling you guys tonight, no elections. Doesn't matter what you see, no elections. It's on the books. Military administration, Vladimir Putin has increased both military administration. That means all of the system people, not soldiers. 2.2 million people are a part of the Russian military administrative war machine. Additionally, Vladimir Putin raised the level of troops from 1.13 million, according to his numbers, to 1.3 million. They've added up 170,000 more troops into the military personnel. Now, I'm going to show you. JDO, let me get that comment right there. I cannot imagine how Ukraine Special Forces went overland to the railroad tunnel without getting caught. Amazing. Very easy. I'll explain it to you. It's the same reason that when we go through a checkpoint, for me, I could never tell. Of course, Zhenya can. When we go through a checkpoint, and if Zhenya hears a funny accent, just a little bit off, it makes him wonder. But it's very difficult. So there are Ukrainian special forces that are ethnic Russians. Their mama's in Russia, their father's in Russia. They just live in Ukraine and they're Ukrainian, but they're Russian descent. Their Russian is Russian. So they can dress up in civilian clothes or throw military clothes on. They can roll through Russia without a problem. And documents, that's no problem. No problem. That's the challenge of this war that a lot of times I try to share with people. It's not like World War II in a sense that you have Germany. Let's just get it towards the end of the war. Germany and the United States and Great Britain and Winston Churchill. You have German language and German culture and American and British English and American and British culture. It's obvious, unless it's very highly level trained spies. It's obvious. Oh, that's the enemy. But the war between Russia and Ukraine, brutally difficult sometimes to make sure you're in safe areas because there's so many collaborators. So what Russia is doing to Ukraine, Ukraine is doing to Russia. Remember what Zelensky said? It's going to be an eye for an eye. Now, I'm going to show you guys something tonight. I got this from Russian media. I am not a Russian. You guys know we're 100% pro-Ukraine. 100% za Ukraina. 100% for Ukraine. But we tell the truth. So a lot of these things that I share, I make sure, okay, Zhenya, you're the pure Ukrainian here. Or, should we show this? He's, man, we tell the truth. And the truth's not always good, but we have to tell the truth. Even Zelensky says, tell the truth. So this is actually the third video I have. And I didn't show one and I didn't show two. And these are legit. This is the third Leopard just on video that I have that's been destroyed. I do not know how many Leopards Ukraine actually has at the front, but I do know 3 have been destroyed. Probably more, but nothing bad on this video, but you see it. This is Russian drone coverage. %. And they showing this back in Moscow. That's why I'm showing it. That's why they stopped it. It's a Leopard. So they hit it. Another reason I'm showing you this video tonight is just to show you the terrain. Okay, listen. I'm not a military guy at all, other than running the front lines. But would somebody please out there, military-wise, tell me why? And both sides are doing it. Ukraine and Russia are both doing it. But right there, I see the tank that's been destroyed, the smoke, but across the tree line that's now destroyed, I see 2 more tanks out there. Can somebody explain to me, please, and put it in the chat, why are the tanks out in the wide open? I don't get it. I just don't get it. So I'm sure there's a reason, but... And Russia's doing the same thing every day. Ukraine is destroying their equipment. Ukraine is destroying much more Russian equipment than Russia is destroying Ukrainian equipment. That's a fact. But why on earth According to Dennis Davidoff, older leopards that shouldn't be on the front line, armor is very poor. Most of the leopards that Ukraine has, I know about Dennis. He's a great guy. To be quite honest, most of them are not armored properly. So it's not like they've put the bad ones out on the front. Where would that be? Zaporizhia region. The flatlands, Zaporizhia. Okay, so tanks being tanks. Is that just what they do, guys? I mean, I know one thing. If I'm in Ukraine and they invite me to ride in a tank, not getting in the tank. That is a dangerous job. So pay tribute to all those soldiers, but I just don't understand that. So that's Zaporizhia. But you know, Tim, you make a good point there, actually. Let me pop this up there. You make a good point there. So the world needs to actually know and understand that a lot of equipment that Ukraine has received is older, worn out. Many of the equipment that they have received and they're using were actually training vehicles all throughout Europe, even the American equipment that's just run ragged. Yeah, they try to get it fixed up and ready, but there's just honestly not enough time to prepare those things for battle because Ukraine needs them so desperately. It's almost like a catch-22. I do know that most equipment, that's getting to that front is just not perfectly prepared. They get it as ready as they can. So it's Ukraine doing amazing things with the situation they're facing. Russia rolling in immigration. Of course, you see a map there of the occupied territories, Southern Front, Eastern Front, and you see some images there of what looks maybe like Mongolian. So what these guys are Eastern Russians, Mongolian influence, Chinese influence, Siberian influence. So Russia, listen, does this sound like World War II or what? Russia has already relocated over 100,000 Eastern Russians into these occupied regions. They are employing them, putting them to work with the intent to mobilize them. The fact is 100,000 young men have been forcibly, and I use the word forcibly relocated to the occupied regions in Ukraine. I have it immigration there with the fist. That's what it is. It's so evil what we're watching unfold, and it's hard to even imagine that this is possible. Now, today Zelensky made a big speech in Zaporizhia. Laskova Makuba. I know you're listening, so get ready. You're up next, buddy. He said today, and I'll just summarize it because I want to get bearings in here. We have a new phase of war, and that's a fact. War is complex. Okay. Now, what did he cover? He covered we are now in winter, and this winter is going to be much more difficult for us than last winter. So, buckle down and let's stand strong. That's winter. This is actually why I prefer to go in the winter, because it's the hardest time when the guys need the help. The weather's horrible. The power goes in and out. It's the most difficult time. Secondly, he talked about mobilization. He says there has been no law changes on mobilization yet. Everything is being discussed, but there will be mobilization changes coming quickly. That's what he said. Thirdly, today he said the counteroffensive did not accomplish all that we wanted. However, we have done an amazing job. We have the best soldiers in the world using the equipment they have. We are outnumbered. We are out equipped. We are out propaganded, out media, and we're holding and we're taking. So he just said, it's not all we wanted, but we're good with it. He said, fourthly, the war in Israel has negatively impacted the view of Ukraine. It's not on the radar anymore. It's not about support. It's not about the things that nations have proved that or has promised that they would send, but it's just about it's out of sight, it's out of mind, it's off the radar. He says we need to fix that. He goes, I don't want to take Israel and Gaza off the world scene. It needs to be there. It's possibly a world war. He goes, but don't forget us. We're fighting possibly a world war. Fifthly, he says, we will continue to fight corruption. We're no more corrupt than any other nation. But one thing we're doing is we're fighting against our corruption to clean our nation up. Beautiful. And then the last point was, he said, dear Ukrainians, we have to come together like never before. And we have. We've come together, but we're moving into a new phase of war, and it's very complex, and we have to stand together. So that was Zelensky today. It was really some powerful, powerful words. How about this for Russian propaganda? This is in Orthodox churches now throughout Russia. You have the umbrella there painted in the Russian colors of the flag, and basically the icon is saying, Russia is shielding you, dear saints, from Nazism, from the United States, from the European Union, from NATO, and from the LGBTQ plus movement. Stay under the umbrella. Would you like to go to your church and see that? All right, folks, tonight, last 20 minutes of the segment here, get ready. We're going to be talking to Askofo Makuba. His name is Berings Mlambia. I'm calling this war in Ukraine the African connection with guest Berings Mlambia. He is from Tanzania. We've been friends for almost 10 years. Been all over Africa, all over Tanzania with him. And we have a deep, deep relationship. Guys, you're really going to enjoy this. So, Askofo, you better be there. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm here, and thank you for having me.
Camera's on the left side.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, now listen, before we get going, is interview pre-recorded? No, 100% live. What time is it? 9:39 p.m. Eastern. All right. Bishop?
Yes, yes,
Are
sir.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you have a flag there?
Yeah, Ukrainian flag.
There you go, buddy.
Слава Україні!
Beautiful. Now, do you have a hat?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't let anybody wear that hat. That's my frontline hat. All right. Look at the man here. Come on, guys. It doesn't get any better than this. Okay, Bishop. My friend Berings, where are you from? Tell me a little bit about your family and your work.
Okay, I'm from Tanzania. My name is Berings Mlambia. I'm married to Grace. We have 3 children, Shalom, Shama, and Nisi. And we are all pastors. We're working for the Lord, and we oversee over 60 churches in Tanzania.
Thank you, brother. Now, you need to let everybody know, Berings. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you know Zhenya?
Yes, I met him in Amsterdam, Holland. That was in June. Yeah, that was in June. I was in Amsterdam this year. I went there to attend a global Pentecostal summit,
Mm-hmm.
and I was stranded there in Amsterdam. So it's when I met him.
Okay. So, all
Yeah.
you out there, let me just tell you the truth. Bearings was in Amsterdam. He got lost. I'm telling you the truth. Uh, no hotel. We needed to get him some money. And to help him out, he got to Amsterdam, figured out Amsterdam's a real big city, and he called Pastor Kent, called myself, says, brothers, I need some help. Fortunately, Jania was in Amsterdam picking up his wife and children. I called Jania. I said, there is a black man from Tanzania walking around Amsterdam. Go find him and take care of him. And so, folks, Jania, who's working in a war zone in Amsterdam, picking up his family, driving around Amsterdam, found Bearings, and we took care of him. So you have a friend in Jania.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Cool.
good friend. They took care of me so much. It was terrible.
All right, now we're going to talk about a few things. And I just, tonight for this segment, I guess I was influenced a little bit about some different things from Jonathan, whom I've been talking to. When we look at the war in Ukraine, we look at the war in Israel, we have to look also at other nations, other parts of the world. What is happening? What is China doing? What is Russia doing in other places? Not just the war zone, but there is a global movement for a new world order. We all know this. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not no Q mess. There's a movement. They're point blank, a new world order, connecting the power to Russia, China, and Iran. It's simple to understand. They said it themselves. So I've been working in Africa with Bearings for 9 years, and we know it pretty well. Had a lot of experiences together. And for sure, guys, 100%, there's a major connection between China and Africa and Russia and Africa. They control Africa. We've told you, but now we're going to show you. So yesterday we were at lunch and I took Bearings and his wife to lunch. The phone rang. It was Jania calling on FaceTime. And Jania said, hey, man, what's up? And I turned the camera around and Bearings was there and Bearings and Jania were talking and everything's good. And this was Bearings' question. Hey, is the war still happening in Ukraine? And Jania said, what are you talking about? So that leads me to this question. In Tanzania and in Africa, as you know it, how much world news do you actually get?
Well, it's very little. We don't have much information about the war. What we hear is that we have a problem of fuel, we have problem of food, we have problem of this because there's war in Ukraine, but much more we don't know in detail.
How much do you hear about the war in Ukraine?
Well, sometimes in news, because back home, not many people have TV, but we usually have maybe domestic radio station where they're connected maybe to BBC or maybe to Deutsche Welle in German is where we can have news, outside news.
Okay. How much
Yeah.
news, with all that you just said, how much news do you hear about the war in Israel?
Oh, it's a lot. In Israel, at least we hear a lot about it.
You're
Maybe
making my
because,
point. Keep
yeah.
going. You're making my point, brother. You're doing awesome.
Yeah, because maybe connection of Christianity and Judaism. So we hear a lot what's happening in Israel right now.
So comparing your information that you receive in Africa between Israel and Ukraine, it's way more for Israel.
Yeah, Israel is, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now, the other thing I want to set this before we go into the China-Russia connection, and that is this. Typical Tanzanian, and this would be also many other African nations, but typical Tanzanian, what is their daily wage? How much are they earning? I just want people to understand this before we go to the next phase.
Usually it could be $1 to $2 a day. That could be a typical way of living there in Tanzania.
$1 to $2 a day.
Yeah.
So $30 to $60 a month.
Yeah, for these local people, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You're setting the stage. You're doing an awesome job. So guys, no information basically about Ukraine. Plenty of information about Israel. Thirdly, you have a population base that is very poor. And most often, they're not so concerned about the outside world. They're more concerned about what you're going to have for dinner and trying to find shoes for your children or get your kids into school. Am I accurate?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. So what does that set the stage for? Oh, let me ask you this. So you're Tanzanian. Are many other African nations the same way?
Well, Africa is almost the same. Yeah, I can see it's almost the same. Yeah.
So
maybe some few countries, maybe like South Africa, maybe North Africa, like Egypt. I don't know. I've never been there, but most of the Southern Africa, we're almost the same.
Okay, so Southern Africa minus South Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, and Western Africa.
Yeah.
Basically the same as far as the economics.
Exactly.
Thank you. You're setting the stage perfectly, brother. Therefore, guys, this is why I submit to you tonight. You're hearing it from an African. This is why China and Russia own Africa. Now, Bearings, in your nation, explain how China has come in with the jobs, extracting the natural resources, basically having their own economy, their own places to shop, everything in Dar es Salaam. Explain to folks how much that's really happening.
Well, the China influence is big economically. We have starting from the 70s. China have assisted Tanzania, like on railway. We have a railway known as Zara, that is Tanzania Zambia Railways, and then we have influence also in mining, influence in agriculture, influence in small scale business. We see them in Dar es Salaam, having their small shops selling there. So there are a lot of Chinese with Russia, because sometimes we don't know who is the Russians, but Chinese is easier to spot them that this is a Chinese the way they look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are African nations corrupt?
Well, corruption is there.
Listen, I'm not picking on Africa. I'm just proving a point. Okay? Ukraine's corrupt. The United States is corrupt. There's corruption in all governments. Okay? But I'm just trying to paint a picture here so people understand when I tell them on the streams that please watch Africa, because Russia is there militarily destabilizing that entire continent. And I'm going to prove it to you in just a moment. And China is there literally, I don't want to use that bad word, but taking resources from them while Africans are struggling to survive on $1 or $2 a day. And the reason it happens is most often the corruption. There are people being paid off. There are governments receiving money, and the Africans struggle. It's fair?
Yeah, well, it's not fair. That's why.
No. Is it fair what I said? Am I accurate? Accurate?
You are accurate. That's why I want to comment on that. Most of our readers, political leaders or religious leaders, they say the enemies of our region is poverty, diseases, uh, corruption. All these are the enemies of our development.
We were talking before going live tonight, Bearings, and we were having a nice cup of tea,
Yeah.
and you had tea with milk in it.
Yeah, sure. I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
But when we were talking, you made this statement, because these are all the notes I wrote down with our pre-talk. Due to the economic conditions, the corruption, you said Africans are just easy to be taken advantage of because they don't have many options.
Yeah, because with a corruption, corruption is to bribe your rights. So if you allow corruption, you allow even enemies to come in. So you are being bribed. You don't have a say. So it's because taking advantage of poverty, there's nothing to say.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we work very hard in Tanzania to partner with you. And for those of you that don't know, and then I'm going to go to one more thing here that's going to blow you guys away as we close out tonight. But through our church here, we actually partner with Bearings, and we are building a women's center, a medical clinic in the middle of the bush in Iringa, Tanzania. And it is there to help break out of this mess. So we just don't come on here and say we have a mess. We try to do something to make a difference, but we have a lot of time with our boots on the ground in Tanzania. So it helps myself and others that have been there a lot understand the real picture. And tonight we're talking to an African saying, yeah, we have a lot of poverty, we have a lot of corruption, and that just opens the door for us to be taken advantage of. Chinese come in, and we know the Russians are there. So it's very, very difficult situation. Now, with that said, I want to go to this, a scuffle, Bearings. Let's go to this one. Let me bring you in here. Now, as we're closing out tonight, let me pop this comment up from Tim. China and Russia are fleecing. Hey, you know what? Bearings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this comment, and then you reply to Tim. Okay. You make a comment on the comment. And then secondly, guys, if for any reason you guys would have a question that you want to ask Bearings, pop it in the chat and I'll see it. We're going to go another 5 or 6 minutes here with something very cool. So let me go back to this, Bearings. Let me put Tim's comment up and you will comment, not me. China and Russia, and this man is from Mississippi, I believe, watching. China and Russia are fleecing Africa of its gold, diamonds, yellow cake uranium in Niger, and other precious metals and natural resources. They're taking your resources.
Yeah, we have countries like the DRC Congo is very unstable. And it's unstable because it has a lot of minerals. So people from outside, maybe I don't know from where, but from outside, mostly we say from the white people.
You can talk normal. Yeah, the white people.
Yeah, they go there, they're up there for grabs because there's no one to control. So yeah, I would agree with him that everything's up for grabs because no one is there to control. So that's why it's unstable.
It just, all I wanted to do tonight by bringing Bearings on here is, just give confirmation when we start talking about these places. We have personal connections in all of these places, and we've been there many times. And when we try to share that, and Zhenya does as well, that China and Russia are ruling Africa, and the EU, what are they? They're on tourism. They're in Zanzibar having holiday, but These nations are there, born and raised in Western New York, just northeast of you. Well, I'll be transplanted Yankee. I'm a transplanted redneck, so I guess we got something in common. All right, this is going to be a very cool segment to close out here tonight. Are you ready? Let's go for Makuba.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. This is the map of Africa. This is released by the RAND Institute. The RAND Institute is a think tank. They're based in Santa Monica, California. And before I shared this, I made sure this was accurate. I researched everything about them, and it's accurate. It's very accurate. These guys are good. When you look at this map, let me just explain it to you first. Every nation that you see in gray, there is no Chinese and Russian influence from military, security, and there's another map that they have economics on, but it's the same countries. Where you see the yellow, that is where A, either Russia, or B, China have private military groups working in these nations confirmed. The darker orange, Russia, private militaries there, and export activities. The next phase of orange, Chinese military corps and exports. And then all of the dark ones, the darkest, that is where both China and Russia, military exports, private military groups, they're there to cause destabilization. I remind you of the coup d'etat in Niger. Wagner was there. It's easy. And basically, it's the whole nation. So as I looked at this, I asked Bearings tonight, I said, listen, I'm going to close out with this map. If I call every nation, I just want you to give one word, and that is this a stable nation or unstable? And we need to think about it. U.S. asleep while China builds in Cuba, not starting, but already building facilities. Absolutely. It's sad. All right, you ready? At the bottom of the map is South Africa. Stable or unstable?
Stable.
Namibia.
Stable.
Botswana.
Stable.
Zimbabwe.
Economically not stable.
Economically not stable. Mozambique.
Not stable. There are conflicts.
Conflicts in Mozambique.
Yeah.
Okay. Angola.
Stable now.
Stable, but full of Chinese and Russian. Zambia.
Zambia stable.
Malawi.
Economically not stable.
Tanzania, your nation.
Stable.
Rwanda.
Rwanda is stable, though there are some conflict with DRC.
All right, so conflicts between Rwanda and DRC.
Yeah.
Okay. Burundi.
Unstable.
Unstable. DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo.
Chaos.
Hold on. That's not one of the options. Stable or unstable, but he goes chaos. Okay, so DRC is messed up. Bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Republic of the Congo.
Also not stable.
Not stable. Gabon.
Gabon, recently there was a coup, not stable. So
There was a coup in Gabon?
yeah, those countries, Niger, Gabon, those West Africa, there are problems.
Okay. Central African Republic.
Chaos. Not stable.
Chaos. Cameroon.
Cameroon, they're okay, but there was also a conflict between the Anglo and the there are two groups. Those who speak French and those who speak English. There are conflict between each other.
In Cameroon, okay. South
Yeah.
Sudan.
Yeah. Bad.
Bad. Uganda.
Uganda, it's okay.
Kenya.
Though they have
back to Uganda.
Yes, Uganda.
Yeah. What about Uganda?
Uganda is okay, though DRC is complaining about Uganda taking their minerals there.
So DRC is in conflict with Rwanda and Uganda.
Yeah, because they believe that they take their people to go and dig minerals there.
Once again, back to the economics.
Yeah. Kenya stable.
Somalia.
Not stable.
Ethiopia.
Not stable, fighting each other.
Ethiopia, bad, yeah. Very influenced by China and Russia. Djibouti.
Also a problem.
Eritrea.
Not stable.
Sudan.
Not stable.
Chad.
Not stable.
Niger.
Bad.
Bad. Nigeria.
Nigeria is stable, but within now there's an influence of religion, those Islamic jihad fighting,
So there is jihad in Nigeria.
Yeah, northern Nigeria. Yeah.
Northern Nigeria. Okay. Let's go up to Egypt.
Egypt, I've never been there, but it's stable.
Libya.
Not stable.
Tunisia.
Tunisia is half.
Algeria.
Algeria stable.
Morocco.
Stable.
Western Sahara.
Not stable.
Now, this is very interesting, guys. I didn't expect this answer that's coming because I know it's coming. But so Western Sahara, not stable. Mauritania.
Not stable. Mauritania, not stable.
Senegal.
Senegal also problems here and there.
Gambia.
Gambia, not stable at all.
Guinea.
Guinea also problem.
Mali.
All those because of the Islamic jihad, a lot of unstable.
Sierra Leone.
They have been at war, not stable.
Liberia.
Also not stable.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, not stable.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah, and now they're fighting each other.
Ghana.
Ghana stable.
Togo.
Togo are stable.
Benin.
Benin stable.
There you go. So guys, I mean, I hope this segment helped you guys understand tonight when we talk about there is a connection not only with the war in Ukraine, the war in Israel, and the world as we know it with Africa. And tonight, so honored to have Bearings with us, just talking Africa. And we just went through the entire map. And I didn't record it, but was it, 4 out of 5 were unstable? And we even had a few option C's with chaos thrown in. So you see, it's ripe to be taken advantage of. And it's sad. So we do our part to help Africa as well. Bearings, thank you for being here. And we partnered together forever, my friend.
Thank you for having me, and God bless you.
You look good. You got a Ukrainian hat. You still got that flag?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right, now listen. Yeah. Hey, thank you, buddy. Anything you want to say to everybody tonight? They're listening to you all over the world.
So sorry.
I said, is there anything you want to tell anybody before people listening all over the world?
Yes, I just want to say thank you for for the Americans, especially I'm here in the US. Thank you for the Americans having me here. You, Pastor Greg, Pastor Kent, and the Bethel Life Worship Center here in Greenville, Pennsylvania. and for your support for Africa, especially Tanzania. I really bless you. Thank you for connecting with a lot of people, not only in the US, even in Ukraine. I've been connected well, so it's a blessing to be connected in such a way. It's a blessing. So I bless you all and I love you all. Thank you so much and good evening.
Perfect, Bearings. Now, my last question for you. I'm leaving after Christmas to go to Ukraine, front lines, Virginia. Would you like to go with us to the front lines?
Not now. Not now, please.
Not now, please. Okay. All right, buddy. All right. You're going to do Terry Ozeberg. Let me ask you your question there. How do you know that Leopard tank was destroyed? They have active armor. I don't believe the bomb can make it through. So not all the Leopards on the front are equipped properly with that armor. We were talking about that. They're not all with the active armor there. So that's, yeah, JDO helping you there as well. But thank you for the question and thank you for being here, sir. All right, my friend, you're going to do Jania's job. I'm going to do my job. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I will say a good night to all, and you will say to all a good night.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
A good night to all.
All good night.
No.
All good night.
No.
Ah.
No. You said you were ready. To all a good night.
To all good night. Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Actually, forget that. Just tell everybody good night in Swahili.
Okay. In Swahili, we say usiku mwema.
Usiku mwema.
Yes.
Injeli imbele.
Yes, we do.
Слава Україні!